Where's Gav?
Yeah, where's Gav, Jez?
It's just sent a direct message that he couldn't make it. Will we manage without him? And I didn't know if Dooch was coming on, but I said we would anyway. There's Dooch here. There's more than enough. I don't know why.
Right. He was mad keen yesterday as well.
Yeah, he might have a date.
Cut that, Jez, because that's ridiculous.
You lose all your credibility coming out with nonsense like that.
Thank you to our 4 sponsors for supporting our podcast: Johnny Russell's Art Caterers and Milltown Pies, Alexander Grace Law, Jez and Lisa's Spoonful of Sweets, and SPE Furnishings. Links to their websites are available in the show notes and on our website. Don't forget to subscribe to get all the latest episodes as soon as they're released.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Housecast Cricket Club's podcast, which is run by volunteers for volunteers to have a good time and a good laugh. It's going down a storm. People are loving the updates from the players and from us people who are trying to bring it to you about how the games have gone over the last few weeks. So without further ado, we'll go to my own booker, my best friend, Joe Martin. How's it going, Joe?
I'm very well, thanks, Jez. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. Yeah,
I will say, how are you? We've had 2 very long chats these past 2 days, so I know how you are.
Yeah, we did. We had 11 laps around the ground yesterday.
It
felt like 11. It felt like 11 afterwards, just catching up, putting the world to right. No, but it was good to have a catch up there, Joe. I mean, the game didn't go as we'd have liked, but c'est la vie, and you got a decent game in yesterday.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad.
So how are you going? Are you keeping all right though? Away from cricket, everything okay?
Yeah, fine. Just busy at work, but we're all right.
Yeah, that's good. We've also got one of our original co-hosts on. We've got Joe Beneducci. Hey, Joe, you okay?
Yes, great.
That's good. We haven't caught up this weekend, but we had a bit of a catch up the weekend before, I think. Have you watched much cricket over the last couple of weeks we're going to talk about?
Yeah, I've watched it all. I've watched every first-team game, barring yesterday's loss to Todd. I went to watch the second's second-team captain give me a bit of a dig because I've not been over to watch any of their games, so I went over there yesterday.
Brilliant. That's good. That's great. Thanks, Joe. That's good to get an input for rather than working from scorecards or the live streams and play cricket. So we're going to talk through. We've got probably 4 or 5 games. Conversation as how we're going to improve or what was good, what was bad. But before we go there, we've got the second team captain on with us this evening. We're going to talk through the second team season, how it's been from start to where we are now. So just welcome once again onto the show, Matt Hope. Hiya, Matt. How's it going?
Yeah, very good. Thank you, Jez. Yeah, all good.
That's good. I know obviously because we chat a lot about it. How's the season gone? When you decided to carry on with the captaincy and the playing staff that you've got in, how's it gone?
Yeah, it's gone quite well. We've had a fairly strong start to the season. I think we can still get better, but overall, I think everyone's contributed in games. People, some new lads have come in and contributed a lot, and one in particular, Det Metcalf, has took to it like he's been playing in it for years. And we've had another couple of other young lads come through and who haven't looked out of place. So no, it's good. Yeah, it's good. We've had a couple of off days, but nothing ridiculously bad. Just a few moments where we haven't been as good as what we could be. But overall, no, I'm fairly pleased with how we started, really.
That's good. That's great. As I was saying before, my connection wasn't the best. You were umming and ahhing, it's no secret, you're 50 this year and you've obviously played so much cricket over the last 30 odd years down at the cricket club and you weren't sure whether you wanted to, and especially with getting promoted, you're now in that top league. Any regrets about carrying on, and also what do you make of the promotion in the league?
I've no regrets in carry on. At all. It's getting harder, and it's harder than it was last year from my own personal point of view with regards to my body, basically, and how it's to recover. But this is the second year that we've been in the top division, and from what I can see, it's just getting stronger and stronger. It's a decent standard of cricket. When I say decent, I mean like compared to the first team, it's not the same, but it's a good standard of cricket. And we're holding us all and doing better than holding us all. To be fair. So no, I've certainly no regrets in carrying on. It's a bit harder, but we had a bit of a chat after the game yesterday where we had one of those days where we had a 10-15 over period where we didn't 15-20 over period where we just didn't perform at all. Or perform to our ability. No individuals, just generally as a collective. A bit of a chat yesterday, and it does that. And I'm still doing it for. Obviously, we want to win. We want to progress as far as we can in the cup, want as well as we can in the league. But as I was saying to you yesterday, I said the best thing that comes out of this is seeing Henry Cotton playing his first team on merit, George Durkin making his debut, Sim again in 2020 last year. That's what I do it for, not to try and go and win leagues and cups with the second team, because it's predominantly about making players ready for the first team and getting there on merit rather than like it had been 10-15 years ago. You got in because 4 people can play. So that's what I enjoy about it, and that's what really made me carry on for another year, because I knew all the lads we had last year were all a year older. They're not 15, 16 now. They're all like 16, 17, 18. So this is now when they should be pushing and putting pressure on people in the first team. So no, but it's been good. It's been a decent start.
No, that's an all credit, Matt, for the way you've described that and pushing those young lads through and giving them massive amount of experience. And they're also getting older. We all think Henry's still 12 and Sharpie and people like that. They're all still young kids. They are coming to the age now where, they are becoming established players in the seconds or pushing for the first team. Joe Martin, these players have come through your coaching regime, etc. Do you agree with Matt there, or is it more about let's start winning trophies in the seconds and things will develop themselves?
I agree with Matt. The idea of the second team, and I don't think it's like this across all clubs, but I think at Lowerhouse the idea for the second team is to give them the experience that will make them good players when they eventually get into the first team. And under Matt's tutelage, I think that they're kind of seeing the benefits of having an experienced captain leading them. But at the same time, it's Matt still contributes. He's not a sort of non-playing captain. He still contributes and does very well.
Yeah, which is important, and whether it's on and off the field, and I'm sure that having a second team captain that has played all those games in the Lancashire League will help with the not just the selection, but the discussions that go on with you, Dooch. Is that about right? What's your thoughts on the way the second team's gone this year and Matt's carrying on and the standard that they're at now?
Big question, that, Jez.
Yeah. Well,
I think where they're at generally, I think they're in a really healthy spot. And if you look at the way that our second 11 sort of lines up against other clubs, you look, the vast majority of our second 11 are young lads who would hopefully play in the first team at some point. Not all of the clubs go down that route. Even yesterday against Enfield, you look down that side. All right, we lost yesterday, but they haven't got many potential first team cricketers in their second 11, and a lot of other clubs are in that position. I'm not slagging anybody off. That's just the way that some clubs are made up. We are picking our second team very much with an eye on future first team players, and if we can be semi-successful with a young team, then I think that's better potentially than mopping up trophies with an old team full of lads who are never going to play any higher. Not everybody might not agree with that, but I just think that's the right direction to go in as a club. Use the second team for younger lads who will eventually play in the first team and use it as their development tool. That's what it was like when I was playing. It's still like that now.
Yeah, and that is. it's a great model that I think Dooch, and it's good, and he brings success in futures. But the here and now is that any different, Matt? Do you agree with Joe there, or is it important that the second team win and don't get relegated? I hear what you say there about you've been in that top league now for 2 seasons. I'd forgot about that, but you don't want to be losing every week, do you? Just because you're bringing youngsters on.
No, absolutely not. And we're not doing it for the reason we're not leaving 4 35-year-old lads out who still want to play cricket to pick these 16, 15, 16, 17-year-olds who aren't good enough. I think it's the way that we've gone as a club, and that's why we've had a fairly successful period on the field. And every time I give the team sheet in to the umpires, the first comment is, bloody hell, you've a lot of under-17s, haven't you? Because there's 5 or 6. But it's not. Yeah. We're not picking them because they're 16. We're picking them because they're good enough. And no, we don't want to get relegated. Absolutely not. Because the difference between the first and second division is massive. It's totally chalk and cheese. But as I said to them yesterday, when we had the chat in the dressing room afterwards, I said it's not all about the second team winning leagues and cups. But if we do win leagues or cups, or we do come in the top 3 or 4, then it's only going to benefit the first team, and they're going to benefit the individuals because they're playing good cricket, they're winning. Everybody likes to win. Winning is a great habit, but we're doing it with the age group of kids that we've got, and it's because they're good enough. And that's the top and bottom of it. If we were leaving, obviously, as I said to him yesterday, there's probably only me and Phil Agate in the seconds who have no more aspirations to play in the first team. All other 9 of them should want to play in first team cricket. And as Joe rightly said, yeah, we got beat comfortably 40-odd runs yesterday. But there wasn't many of them that will have aspirations, never mind will do. That, you know what I mean? Of that age, I don't think they had one under 17-year-old yesterday, which is fine. But for us, there's nothing better than seeing George Durkee make his T20 debut on Friday, and the other ones, Sharpie last year, Henry, Tom. That's what I think we do it for. But the top and bottom is we're doing it, and they're good enough. You know what I mean? We're not just picking them because they're 16 over a lad who's 30, who's a better player than him. They are the best 11 that we have after the first team, and that's credit to all the work that goes on with the lads, the APP and Joe Martin and Stan and everything else that's gone on in the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah, so it's almost an ideal position where the first team's strong and has got competition. You've talked, and you will. We all know about 2, 3 or 4 young lads who are going to come through or in that squad of maybe 18 players in the first team, and that's fantastic to see. So let's keep pushing them and get to a stage where they can get in the first team, and then younger players, come and replace them. You currently you're 6th in the league. You've won 4 out of your 7 games. I think I've made some notes earlier. You lost at Rami in the first game. Hammy got Hammy. That's a cross between Haggers and Simmy. So Hammy got 124 between them. Did Hammy? Haggers got 83 of them, and Simmy got 41. Then you've won at Norden. Finchy's 92, which goes without saying the class of Finchy, and we'll come on to that in a minute. You've lost at Haze. You've won at Crompton. Again, Simmy's got 40-odd. Young Metcalf's got, I think, did he get 50 in that game at Haze?
60 that
which is great to see. And as you say, Henry's in the first team, and depending on injuries and everything else, these players are coming through into the first team. Can I just come on to the point, Matt, I meant to try and work it out today, the games where the young lads are being involved, and you're all bringing them through. But on one game, there was you, Finchy, and Blaise in a second team game. I'm surprised Adam's not done it, but there can't be many other second teams that have turned out with 3 players who've got as many runs and as many wickets between you 3. How did that go down, and how did it feel, and how were they with the youngsters?
Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely. Finchy has been. He's played in seconds on and off for maybe 2-3 years. Yeah. So he's always been great, and Blaise was brilliant. talked in the dressing room afterwards. Made some really, really valid points, trying to bring a bit of the first team feel to it, with the intensity and things like that, and really, really helpful. And the biggest thing that was, which proved that, we played on Saturday in the Cup at Rishton with us three playing, and we only had one umpire, so you had to take it in. So the batting side had to take it in turns, and never once did Finchio. Well, in fact, they both volunteered. I'll do the next five. So they're out there as they were walking through. They were talking to the batters. Blaise was there, almost slowing the game down. Blaise, because he was speaking to them in the middle of the pitch, and then he goes stand at square leg, and then Finchie was doing overs 10-5, like left, so from 10, and we were getting quite close. We were in 4.5 and over for the last 10 overs. With plenty of wickets in hand, and we've got Tommy Robinson and Sharpie batting and done really, really well. So then George Durkin was supposed to go and do the last 5, so he stood at the bottom. He goes on the pitch with 5 overs to go, and Finchie says, "No, I'll do it." He said, I want to stay here and talk to these two. And we ended up winning game with 2 overs to spare. So things like that is like invaluable, and you could see the lads. And I went out and umpired, and we're talking. You could see them just get a bit taller, get a bit bigger, get a bit. You know what I mean? Just have more confidence in what they were doing, and they were doing it right. There was nothing earth-shattering said by any of us three. It was just that reassurance that they're there, and they know that they're doing right, and just to carry on doing what they've done. So no, it's really good. It's good.
It's fantastic, to have that wealth of experience, within the ranks, and you've got through that game. So it's a quarter-final tie for the seconds as well, I believe. Yeah. And that's an away game at Haslingden. Yeah, of course it is. So that's something to treasure. Get over there and get a good result and get a semi-final place. That would obviously do the morale world of good.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That's good. So, let's hope that everything carries on the way it is and we don't have lotteries or other extractions, and we can keep that momentum going with the second team, which obviously feeds the first team. Joe Martin, is there, we talked about a couple of games there. We don't want to dissect them all inside out. You mentioned earlier a few points about Matt and his bowling. What's your observation around that?
Well, actually, that he's still contributing. And I don't think, as he said, I don't think it gets any. I don't know. This is demoralising, isn't it? Christ, man.
No, you're right.
But the fact that he's still taking wickets and he's still, not going for many runs and leading from the front, makes a big difference to young. I think it shows that somebody back in. And I think the other thing as well to give Matt credit for is I think this is the first, and I don't know if Dooch feels the same way as the person in charge of selection, but I don't know whether it's but I think this is potentially one of the first years where there is still competition for place in the first. Typically we would have a squad of 11 or 12 from they're doing really well this year.
You can, Joe, and there's two things to that, and to go back on to what we said earlier is A, they're good enough, and B, they're a year older. You know what I mean? And I even put the likes of Simi, Charlie Bithell, Tom Olstead in there. All right, they're 3 or 4 years older than the crop of Henry and Dirks and Sharpie and all that kind of people. But they're another year older, so they're learning the game and taking more responsibility for themselves. It is probably the first time since I've been involved in it that people are getting picked for the first team from the seconds because of performances and going in and batting in the position that Henry Cotton's done in first 6, 7, 8, 9 games, and not being picked and played as a fielder who's going to bat at 11. Yeah, there are still going to be times where that happens, Joe, but there's now people. There's still no one, I would say, hammering the door down, but there's a few knocking quite hard at the moment, and that's only got to be good for the club in its whole. It means the second team are stronger and win more games, and it means the first team have got to perform, or else there's someone waiting to get the spot.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a great point, Matt.
Yeah.
It's great to see people being picked because they're performing well, not because others aren't performing. I think
aren't available.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's a fantastic way where the clubs are.
Yeah, and like I said, there are going to be times where someone comes in from the second team, a batter or bowler, and isn't going to go and bat in the top six or bowl second change because they've still got the learning process to go through. You know what I mean? And they've still got to earn that right. But I'm hoping now that if there is an opportunity where someone doesn't play at weekend and one of the lads take the chance, then they stay in. It's not a case of you've done well, but thanks so and so's back. Regardless of what you do, there's an opportunity there. And if they take the chance, then they're going to stay in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so no, it is. It's good. It's good. And I must say, as I said yesterday in the dressing room, apart from me and Haggers, and I got a dare to look off Haggers for saying last place was playing first team, but genuinely, all of the 9 of them, that is what they want to do. Whether all 9 of them do or play for 15 years, I don't know. But every single one of them is playing in that second team, doing the best they can because they want to play first team cricket, and that's the best part of it.
Yeah, and that's got to bode well for the next decade. Not even counting the ones that are coming through behind them. No, that's brilliant, Mark. Thanks very much for... When Joe Martin started then, I thought we were talking about how well you were playing. I thought you were going to push you into first team then.
Hey, there's always an option, Jez.
There's always that option, yeah. First slate next to you.
Yeah, but even if they were 300 for none off 20 over, Joe, I won't be able to move from first slate.
Yeah, when Matt said there's no one battering the door down, there's a few knocking on it, and Matt's just tapping it with his toe.
No, I'm not. I'm walking away from it. Absolutely.
You're walking away from that door. Dude, anything to just chat through with the seconds before we let Matt's off out for a run before bedtime. So he has to leave us in the next 5 minutes. Dude, anything you want to mention before he goes?
Not really.
They're doing very well. They've lost a couple of games, but that's to be expected. I thought they were unlucky yesterday against Enfield. A few things just didn't go our way. But they're doing very well. You look at the stats. Like Matt says, it's very pleasing to see some of the young lads coming and getting the first team, but it's also very pleasing to see the likes of Dec Metcalf, who's had limited opportunities to come in and do very well in the seconds. So yeah, I think it's all rosy, me personally.
Brilliant, thanks for that, Dooch. Matt, there's nothing else unless you want to come into us and talk us through anything else that's going on. Any characters in that second team?
Oh yeah, there's still a few characters. Yeah, the fine committee is getting more a lot stricter. You can't do anything. Getting fined. Tom Olsted's still there, and he's still as daft as a brush. And Dirk's just pushing him really, really hard to be daft just in the team. But no, he's good. Yeah, it's good. It is. It's a really, really good mix. They all get on. A lot of them have played junior cricket together, which is good. And obviously with myself and Aggers and Finchy and players, if and when they play, it's a really good blend. Really enjoying it. And just to reiterate what Joe said there, there's with Dec Metcalf, and he's come in and got best part of 100 runs in 3 games and not been out yet. Joe Edgar's come in and certainly never looked out of place or let himself down. He's another one that's, I'm sure, has got a decent future. And there's a few other ones beyond that. We picked Elliot Johnson and Oliver Williams in the squad for this Sunday just gone. They didn't make the final 11, but that's the kind of depth and what we've got of these 16, 17-year-olds all waiting and performing in the thirds and fourths that can come in the second and take the chance.
Brilliant. It all, as I've said, it all bodes well, and to keep those people and keep them interested and keep them practicing hard and having a good time, wanting to play, but also wanting to play in first team. So, Matt, thanks ever so much for coming on and give us that update. We don't want to get you on every other week or so. We just talk generally, but I appreciate you coming on maybe halfway through the season.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever. Yeah, no problem.
Good lad.
Yeah.
Now, just for the listeners, Matt's just got his running shorts on now. He's got his Lycra top on, so he's off out to have a quick trot round Rose Grove. So if there's anyone about, meet him at Lane Ends.
Yeah, just pop me on and I'll wave at you. No problem.
Brilliant. Thanks, Matt. Speak to you soon.
In a bit. Ta-ra. Bye-bye.
So Matt's disappeared from us there. Is my volume all right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about the games in reverse order, really. Let's just talk about this weekend. Great results against Burnley and a good victory on Saturday, and then the game yesterday. So Joe Martin, can you just talk us through the build-up to the game, how you felt after the Sunday, and really, we can't hide from the fact what went wrong and how we got beat by Todmorden yesterday.
Yeah. I could talk about the Sunday game first, which has left me dejected, to say the least. But they're pro-battered extremely well. Some things quite go our way. That happens, and they ended up getting quite a big score. But we weren't that far away actually. One of their players got 70 odd, and the pro got 120, and we had four players who got 30. So it's just one of those players going on and getting 70 or 80 not out and in the game. So whilst we were really disappointed, it's also good knowing that we're not far away from winning that, even chasing a massive score. To chase that. So yeah, we were disappointed, but
yeah, it was. We had chats that we've mentioned earlier, and I think Paul Stanley, he don't talk a lot of sense most of the time, but I think yesterday he summed it up a little bit. They just maybe were 5% better batting, bowling and fielding, and had that luck, which, sometimes you've just got to accept that happens. Their pros got a good score. But that happens, really. I think it's fair to say, Dukes, you were over at the seconds, weren't you, as we mentioned earlier? So
yeah.
You didn't
see yesterday.
Yeah, you didn't see what went on. But I think there's no qualms about the defeat at all. I think they deserved it. But we move on. We move on from that. Is it what I'd like to mention now and see what if any of the listeners have any comments about this, if they want to tweet or whatever else they can do. This league is not going to be won by a team only losing 2 games. It's going to be good old long season. There's going to be no one finishes at the bottom having only won a couple of games. Do you agree with that, Joe Martin? That it's so strong this year that's going to happen?
Yeah, it's extremely competitive, I think. And if you look at all the teams, anybody can beat sort of anybody. I know it's horrendous, but the results show that already. That you would expect some of the games we'd expect teams to win, they haven't done. Teams have pulled results out of the bag, so it's really competitive and be interesting. Been really interesting to see early on.
Yeah, there has been some real interesting results when you look at the league table and bottom beats top. The weekend before last, I think it was that were happening regular. But then when you boil it down, you look at the sides who were in the bottom. They're no dummies. They are that. That's going to happen, and we won't talk about previous years when there were some clubs. So yeah, we just got to keep battling away and, keep performing the way we have, and we'll be fine. We'll be fine. We'll have top 3 or 4 places if everyone keeps working the way they do. So let's go on.
Jez, just before you move on, just about where we're going to finish in the league, I sat with Joe at Middleton when we played at Middleton, and it was getting into the dicey end of the run chase. And Joe had his batting gear on, ready to go in, which ultimately never happened. But he looked a bit worried, and I said, "What's up? Are you nervous?" He went, "I just don't want us to get relegated." That was the 5th game of the season. That 5th game of the season, and Joe Martin was worried about us getting relegated.
Yeah, and to add to that, dude, Joe Martin's what are you now? 26?
28.
28.
Yeah.
So honestly, Joe Martin, as you get older, you get more pessimistic and more panicky about things and more worried about stuff. You've got to get rid of that. You've got to stop being so pessimistic.
I can't cope. I can't watch. I'm going to be useless on this podcast in the next few. I have nothing to say because I'll just be led in the changing room with my atom.
Yeah, not wanting to move. I'm sure things will be all right. But if it gets to that sort of stage, we'll have to battle a relegation battle. Then then we'll have to battle
Oh,
it.
don't say that, Jim.
But before we continue with the league games, let's have a little bit of a break and talk about the game on Saturday.
Oh, yeah, excellent.
Which, I got down there really quite early and was watching it all, expecting a good game. I thought there'd be more people on at the early stages, more spectators, but it did fill up as it went to the game.
Busy later on, wasn't it?
Yeah, there were probably 300 people, maybe 300 or 400. There were 300 people that were on. But what a start Burnley had. Crikey, does it still send shockwaves through the dressing rooms like it used to when we played, when we're losing a couple of wickets in the first 5 overs and we're next to nothing for 2, Joe?
Certainly does for me, but I'm not sure about anybody. Else.
Right. So that, yeah.
The thing, we are a genuinely good batting team. We got. I know we're talking about Saturday, but we got 210 without anybody getting over 37.
Yeah.
So we bat really low down. So you've got Charlie at 5, and Dean at 6, 8, and Paddy at 7. Yeah. I don't know why I went in. But then you've got Henry who came in yesterday, got 20 odd and batted fantastic.
Yeah.
So no, I don't think. And on Saturday, Charlie and the Pro batted fantastically well.
Yeah.
Really outstanding, a great partnership that set the game up. Really, because after initially what we thought was probably a 180, 190 wicket, we sort of revised that. I actually thought 160, 170 would be a good score.
Yeah. It's interesting just thinking about that, the dynamics of that. Dooch, when you following the 2004 season and the success that you had as captain, as a player over that next half a decade or so, did the team still have a panic mentality when we lost a few wickets? The only reason I'm putting you on the spot and asking you, because they certainly did when I played, even when we were doing quite well. If Stan were out, or Phil Aston was out, or the Pro was out, that was it. We were discussing whether we're having pizza or a kebab for supper. The game's gone, and we're just moving on. How was it when, in that era, in the late, to 2010, dude?
You asked me some real heavy questions today.
I've been practicing.
I want to say no, but obviously there must have been a point in time when that changed, because obviously I started playing the first team in 2000. We were much better then than going back a lot earlier than that. But there obviously are games when you do panic, and if you do lose, if the Pro's out and Blaise is out, and you're obviously a lot less confident and comfortable than you are if those guys are still in.
Yeah.
But we've definitely got better as a club, not just in this current team, but going back probably 10 years. We've probably had a bit more of a spine, maybe than the teams that you referred to there. Maybe we have a little bit more depth in terms of ability, or people who can come in a little bit lower down and have an effect on the game. I'm just thinking back to 2005, and I hate to talk on about it all the time, but you did bring it up, so I don't feel too bad. We did pull some games out of the fire that year where we were 4 and 5 down early. So yeah, I think those dark days that you refer to, thankfully, are well in the past, and I think that Saturday was a case in point. And Joe mentioned the partnership between Charlie and the Pro. I mean, it's so crucial that. I mean, if you look at the scorecard and as we were watching the game, if we'd have lost another one at 18 for 3 and we'd have been 20 for 4, and then Dean's coming in at 20 for 4 with 35 overs to go, that's a whole different kettle of fish. So Charlie and the Pro's partnership was, what was it? Let's have a look. 74, worth double, I'd say.
100%.
Worth double.
100%.
Totally sets the innings up. And all right, there were some people around me who were saying perhaps we weren't scoring quickly enough, but that just gave us a platform to go on and do what we were able to do in the last 10 overs of the game and ultimately win the game comfortably. I have that down as the crucial part of the game.
Yeah, with 100%, without a doubt, in the way that they played. And I would also say, and the fact that, they've used 186 balls there between them and put on that partnership, but it quieted Burnley down. They went into a shell to a certain degree, as much as Burnley do. They're a fantastic side, and they are vocal and very enthusiastic about it, but they went into the shells a little bit. And I genuinely, again, I don't know why I keep going back to the older days of, not doom and gloom like Joe Martin. Oh, what was this? Oh, we should have done that. But you think, yeah, and Dean got a great 30 again, and Paddy got a good 12, and Joe Hawke's got that invaluable run to push it up towards the 175 mark. But I think we'd have got 200 there. The Pro and Charlie, would have battered for another 5 overs. They were both ready to go. They were both in a position they'd seen it. When Charlie Cottam ever batted 91 balls and got 30, he's ready to go. And I think it's worth mentioning, Joe Martin, you haven't played as much as me and Dooch. You've played a lot more in the modern game. Have you ever seen a wicket fall like the Pro was out to?
No, what a catch! Honestly, yeah. What a great catch that is. But I think it's a bit geeky, I think, of this, but it's actually the full. I don't think you quite appreciate how good that catch was by Bert, because he had to anticipate everything to be able to get in a position to catch it. Genuinely, one of the best catches I've seen.
That is my point, Joe, is the anticipation. That shot, you will watch it in, T20 games at county level and international level, and it flies, it goes because of the base of the ball. It's generally 1 bounce, if not 6. And once you've got that, the angle of the bat right, and it's disappearing over the stumper's head, to anticipate it. It was a fantastic catch, and there's lots of luck involved in it. But the way that it just went into his glove, I thought it was absolutely outstanding. And I don't think the Pro could have done anything more. And I also think with Charlie, I think Charlie was ready to go. I think thinking, right, we've got a batting line up here. And all credit, to the Burnley lads, to Bedford and the wicket keeping again. He fired it down the leg side, and Charlie's been stumped. So I think we've lost 20 or 30 runs there. It's
quite funny, Jez. Charlie was fined for a 50 for not getting 50, and his defence was, the rate I was going at, I don't think I had enough overs left.
Which again is not like a Charlie Cottam innings, is it?
But it was funny. I personally think Bert's.
Well, I think he's second best, but that's another thing.
Let's just move on. We can't be praising other. We've been through this before. I know he's a very nice guy, but I want to come back to somebody we mentioned briefly there, Jork.
Yeah.
What a season he's having. He looks back to his absolute best with bat and ball. His bowling, as in the games that I've watched, has been absolutely bang on, and he's scored some very, very valuable runs for us down the bottom of the order. I think if we were giving a player of the season out now at the end of May, he'd be getting my vote without a shadow of a doubt.
It's been fantastic.
Yeah, it does, and he seems a different. He's always been a badly done to, hasn't he, Joe? He's always woe is me, and he still has that. He still bowls those absolute corkers that pitch on leg stump, just move enough to go over the top of off stump, but miss the outside edge. He still does it, but now they are getting nicks on him, and he is showing what a batter he is. When he was a young kid, he was a proper all-rounder, and then he lost that completely, I think. It may be after when he came back from proing, but I agree with you, Duke. He's really back to his best. So at half-time, you took it into your tea, Joe. Your thoughts then? Was it enough? Were you comfortable?
Yeah, we were extremely confident. Confident. We thought that probably got than what we thought was chaser, actually.
Yeah,
so
okay.
we thought it was probably going to be tight, but we were really confident, and it was a great, again, Hawkey and Tom Walker bowled brilliantly well. 6 start.
Yeah. And that's good to hear that, Joe, that you are in that, because it goes back to what I was saying earlier about, Phil or Stan or, Iggy were out earlier for us. That we were just game over. You lads, you've got that confidence. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it. You're not arrogant. You're not over the top with it. You just believe, which is, probably 10% of the game. They've got some great batters there. And 170, we all know how hockey can bat all the way through for, 60 and lose 3 overs to go. But that's the way things go. So Hawkey and Tom Walker have bowled fantastically well for the first spell. Was Hawkey seems to have a little bit of extra pace going on, especially from that park end, which he's not. He's not a big fan on. He seemed to be coming through a little bit quicker.
Yeah, potentially, but I think he bowls. So I think he bowls from the park end now more than from the clubhouse car park end. That people get enticed from the car park. The big booming outswings that nobody's.
Yeah.
Well, I was. Yeah. But so I think that that end really suits him. He's bowled well all week. It was brilliant. And Ian came on and bowled extremely well as well. So yeah, it was a good day.
So they've got to, I think where they're in a position where we've got a chance of winning this really is probably 50, 58, late 50s for 4. Ocky's still in. There's still some good batters there. But then we get quite a few wickets going through there. Was that game over once we'd taken that middle order out, a Sharper pick up?
I think if you've got Ocky there, I think they've always got a chance. He can bat the whole inning. He's 70 odd not out, can't he, with the game? And they also bat right down to number 11 as well. But we were also building a lot of pressure, so they weren't. It wasn't like they were 4 or 5 down and scoring at 4 and 5 and over.
Yeah,
they were going at 1 and less.
Yeah.
So I was growing in confidence, remarkable.
Even you were. Yeah. No, that's good. So a great win. Yeah. And I'm sure you were. You all enjoyed the victory. And we move on, and we've got Clitheroe in the quarter-final at home on the, I think, 19th of June, is it? Yeah. So let's all look forward to that game. Duke, anything else around the cup before we move on to the 2 league games?
Just a couple of quick questions for Joe about the sub-pro.
Yeah.
Ian, Holland, what's he like as a bloke? Seems a good lad from a distance.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Great chap. Yeah,
and can you recall any other sub-pros called Ian?
Yeah. Well bowled, Ian. Ian Daniel, yeah. I don't think I was playing, but it was a Sri Lankan, wasn't he? And he against Bay Cup or something like that. I think it would have been 2000 and I just remember. Well bowled, Ian. I think he got a first bowler, and he
got a duck and none for against Bay Cup, and in the change room after said how much he'd enjoyed playing with us and how we'd like to come back if we ever needed him, and he'd got a duck and no wickets. Yeah, we'll call you Ian. Thanks.
Yeah, we'll let you know. But I think whilst Steve's been injured, we've done reasonably well. I think with sub pros, it's not easy to get sub pros at any. So. We've got some pros that have really fitted into the team well and have contributed. They've won certainly, but they have contributed 2 wins as opposed to being 100 not out and 6 wicket. Yeah, talk about he's back. So back. This has been such a bizarre episode. Jez?
Yeah, I'm back.
I just said to Dooch, when was the last time anybody was on mute?
You're a Catholic, aren't you, George? Do you get in trouble for blaspheming at home?
I know, I'm swearing.
You've been very blasphemous on this call.
Yeah, I know. I'm just
lots of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, well, I speak to him a lot.
So we talked through there. I'm sure there's some technical issues going to come through for the listeners and understand that it's not as easy as it's been this episode for some reason. I don't know if it's my new Wi-Fi or what's been going on, but whilst you're talking about blaspheming, Dooch, I got a little story yesterday that I'd like to relay to you.
Go for it.
Joe, Martin and I have numerous circuits around the ground, and this lady, a lovely lady who knows Joe very well, is chatting to him every time we go past. And right out of the blue, I think it's 3rd circuit, she said, Joe, I'm really sorry about what I said, a few weeks ago. I'm really, I just can't believe that Father Brian is not really your dad. So I obviously prick my ears up and just sit back, and Joel gets all embarrassed. Well, and there's a few other people there. And the story is that this lady, who's known Joe since being knee-high to a grasshopper and knows Susan, has thought that Father Brian was Joe's father. Knew he was a man of the cloth, but didn't realise he was a priest of the Catholic persuasion, and he couldn't have really have been Joe's father. So it did tickle me a little bit, that.
That is funny, yeah. Very funny.
She full conversation with Father Brian. Enzo's.
I mean, you could see it, couldn't you? You could see Joe belonging to Father Brian. There's quite a lot of similarities there.
Well, we did compare them on one of our circuits. We chatted to Father Brian about it, and he got as embarrassed as Joe did.
Well, actually, Jez, there were a lot of comparisons between me and other people yesterday, weren't there?
There was, yeah. That was another one. Me and Joe were walking along, and the shape of our legs, we got wondering if I was Joe's older brother, or was it Dad?
Granddad.
I didn't want to say it.
Definitely. Right, let's move on. We've done the Burnley game, I think.
Yeah, T20.
Great win. Thanks, Dooch, for rescuing me there around my technical problems. And the pro does look a great lad, and he's obviously tries extremely hard and contributes to the team. So Greenmount away the weekend before. Joe Martin, just talk us through that game. I didn't watch any of it. I know Dooch watched it, so you talk us through it first, Joe Martin, then we'll go to Dooch.
I didn't know.
We haven't discussed it yet. We can't just discuss games we win.
Yeah, it was a strange old game. Battered on a really good wicket. Had a lot of bounce on it, and do you know what? They bowled really well. They bowled really well. Admittedly, we were missing Francois, but that doesn't matter. We've still got a great team, regardless who's available. But they bowled us out, and it's one of those games that they bowled really well, took all the chances. I don't know. It was a great wicket, and bombed out.
Yeah, those things happen, and as we've said, if they bowled extremely well, they're used to the pitch, and we've not played there much. We've not much history about it. It happens, just like the Todd game. Those, they're good signs. There are a lot of good players in these.
Yeah.
Dooch, were you there from the start and watch? I think we didn't lose a wicket early on, but what were your thoughts about the pitch and the way the game started?
I didn't actually go. I forgot about this one.
All right, okay.
I said I watched them all except for last week, but I didn't watch Greenmount either. I didn't go.
I was there, Jez.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, Dooch, if you'd have been a proper co-host there, you'd have just blagged it.
Well, I don't mind lying to everybody else, but I didn't want to lie to you.
Oh. Right, well,
so if you want to ask me again and I'll lie, but I don't mind.
No, I think we can fly through it. Well, it wasn't a great day at the office. 104 all out us, and again, but saying that, we're still battered the 39th over, which is the ethos that Dean Barlow and Toxie and obviously Joe Martin have mentioned, that Ben is trying to push people now. We bat deep, we stay in the game for as long as we can, and obviously you've tried as best as you could against a good bowling attack, but they've knocked them off in no time. What's their pro like, Joe? The what's it called? Clifton Hughes.
Chesney
Hughes, yeah, that's it.
He's he's a good player. Good player.
Yeah.
Very good. It was one of those days, Jez, where nothing went right. Hey-ho, we go again.
Yeah, you move on. You move on from it. And then I think we've one more game to go through. Is that right?
T20?
The T20, yeah. Talk us through that, Joe.
Well, so we're at Great Harwood.
Yeah.
We batted first. Got off to a pretty good start. And our sub-pro batted extremely well. Got 60-odd. Really, we batted extremely well. And then when we came out to bowl, again, we were really disciplined. We bowled well. We didn't really give them anything to hit. And it was just a good game. Lots of youngsters playing in that game as well. So it was a really good performance. I think we've got Church away this week on Friday. So yeah, it was good, really good by everybody.
It's good to see that. I didn't go to that. I don't know if Joe or Dooch went or not, whether I forgot or did.
I did. No, I went to that one.
But you look at the pro there, Dooch, 7 sixes out of his 67. Comprehensive win in your view?
Yeah, they actually got quite close in the end, Great Harwood. It was never really in the balance, but they weren't a million miles away, and the pro got a duck. It could have been a lot closer, that game. But no, I thought we bowled particularly well, and like you said earlier, the pro with the bat was
brilliant. And it's like I said, we don't historically do very well in that tournament. But it would be good to see, as much as Joe Martin don't like it, would be good to see us have a good run there and, maybe have a bit of a finals day or get close to that, just for the, feats for the spectators and for the club and, the type of game that it is. I think it's worth mentioning now, Joe Martin, that we are looking at recording we've we can't guarantee it yet, but we're looking the game where we play East Lancs at home on, I think it's the 10th of June. We are looking at live streaming that game with commentary from guest commentators. So watch this space, Housecast listeners.
And watch that space.
And watch that space as well. So
I've got a question.
Go on.
I mean, the Lowerhouse, the DJ that Lowerhouse employ for those games, you know, he's quite an attraction, and a lot of people come to listen to his music. How will the commentary go on if there's music blaring out?
I think we could manage it. I mean, he's very professional. It's the DJ. We'd have to obviously have a strategy beforehand and work out exactly how many seconds he's allowed to play between wickets. But that's part of the entertainment. It's not about the DJ or the commentary, it's about the spectators and the entertainment that's out there. So I think we'll manage it. We're shipping in, one of the best commentators I've ever heard. Go for it, Gav. He's gonna be the chief commentator with regards, running the names through and talking the spectators through. We just hope we can get the video link live and it all works okay. So watch this space for.
I don't think Dooch will appreciate me saying this, but I don't think we give enough credit to our DJ. Who we would, you could argue, right, that he is, semi-professional. Because the way I think about it is, if you're a professional DJ, you get paid for it and you have big live events. If you're an amateur one, I don't know, you just do it in your. But he does it for free to, like 1,000 people in open air, like Burnley's David Guetta.
Yeah. Yeah, has he got a few different names when he plays in different places?
Oh, I don't know what he's like when he goes to Ibiza. We'll cut that out.
But anyway, so let's look forward to that. We're doing all we can to bring the live stream with commentary, with guest commentators to the Lowerhouse game on June the 10th. I'm led to believe, I don't know where this technology comes from, but I'm led to believe it can be recorded and can be played back. So if there is any special moments, we can recall them. So that's for the benefit of the spectators. Is there anything else from you two before we wrap up?
Nothing from me, Jeremy.
Fantastic, thank you. Dooch?
Very quickly, quirk of the fixtures. When we play Clitheroe in the Worsley Cup, we're now playing them Friday night in the T20, Saturday in the league, Sunday in the Worsley Cup. 3 consecutive days, the same club. I wonder if that's ever happened before.
Really?
Really. Home on Friday night in the T20, away in the league, home in the cup on Sunday.
Crikey, that's I can't remember it happening before, Dooch, but I'm just wondering, does it benefit anyone? Is there going to be some thinking caps going on out there for some tactical different moves for each game? It's interesting. It's a good discussion point.
So I don't think the T20 has much of a place.
Our side will definitely be different for the T20. We'll have a different side out on Friday night than we will for Saturday and Sunday, I would imagine.
Yeah.
But there's certainly something about the momentum in both games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose. And if you're in form and you're getting runs against a particular bowler, you're going to likely fancy yourself getting runs the next game, or vice versa. If someone's getting someone out. Interesting fight.
Great point, Joe Beneducci.
We'll have to have a look at that as we get nearer. So thanks everyone for listening. Thanks to Matt Hope for coming on and talking through the second 11, which is so good to see these young people, the young kids coming through and the banter that they'll be having. They'll be making so many memories in those dressing rooms. Thanks everyone for listening. Thanks Joe Martin. Thanks Joe Beneducci for coming on and sorting this podcast out. We still enjoy doing it. We love it. If anyone's got any suggestions or any ideas of adding extra bits in or new guests, then give us a shout. Thanks everyone for listening, and goodbye.
Gordon, send more house to save the house.